The Untold Adventures of Biao. Season 1. Episode 32. It was a beautiful morning when the school was about to be completed. Biao woke up and found his father was cleaning the kanai with chain. Just by looking, people would think that Mr. Gong was preparing a fishing rod. Biao felt strange and asked what his father was doing. Just a few more days was the duel day with Shenlong. So, it was supposed that they had to focus on preparation. Looking at Mr. Gong, Biao was confused. "Dad, I can't expect it. At this time, you're still in the mood to go fishing." "You idiot. What are you talking about? I'm going to find an assistant for the fight with Shenlong." Mr. Gong went out with the fishing rod in hand and told Biao that he was on his way to find a powerful assistant because the upcoming fight was very tough. After talking for a while, Biao finally understood. Shenlong was about to evolve into a dragon. So whether flying in the sky, walking on the ground, or even diving underwater, Shenlong could do it all easily. So Mr. Gong must find solutions to counter it, no matter where the fight took place. In the sky, he would rely on the soul-revoking owl. On the ground, there would be corpse-eating dogs. It was only under the water that he still didn't have an assistant to help. To deal with that demon, we need to have powerful assistants, and those assistants have to work well together. It's not simple at all. Mr. Gong walked towards the riverbank. He was looking for the demon in the river to ask for help. "Son, do you remember the black shadow you saw last time when picking up a young girl's body in the river? The shadow of that time. So, what is that river demon after all?" Mr. Gong didn't answer Biao's question directly. He bent down and sighed, then began to tell the story of the Shenlong. That river demon also belongs to the race of dragons. You will see it tonight. We must quickly deal with Shenlong, preventing it from worse matters. According to what Mr. Gong said, 30 years ago, Mr. Gong explored the tomb of the Demon King and fought with that dragon. At that time, it was called the Messenger of Death. That Shenlong is as known as the Messenger of Death of the Demon King's tomb in Kailang village. Messenger of Death. Have you fought with it before? 30 years ago, Mr. Gong happened to find the tomb of the Demon King. At that time, the assistant supporting him was mice, while most others were taking on the responsibility of exploring new areas. Even exploration was not as dangerous as tomb raiding, but it required more resources. Beside mice, there was also Red Snake to escort him. Mr. Gong and 2 assistants entered the tomb of the Demon King. Contrary to their thought at first, the tomb of the Demon King was not too elaborate and magnificent. It was only created from the intersection of caves. Although the tomb was not very beautiful, in terms of architecture, it was extremely solid. From deep inside emitted a strong smell of demonic gas, which made anyone frightened when stepping inside. Mice played the role of a scout. In front of the tomb's gate, it seemed not to have many traps at all. Mr. Gong opened the door slightly and looked inside. He discovered that there were a lot of rats running around. He took a quick look over the catacombs. Only a glimpse, but it made an experienced person like him overwhelmed. In front of Mr. Gong, there were thousands and thousands of corpses laid below. And there were magicians wearing white robes above the corpses. At the top was the master wearing a robe mixed with 3 colors. Although those white robe magicians were dead for several hundred years, their bodies did not appear to be rotted at all. On the contrary, these corpses were dark purple in color. According to his experience, these corpses could come back to life one day. As for the master at the top of the tomb, this was also a corpse of several hundred years. And the smell of demonic aura emanating from it seemed to be the heaviest here. Looking at the whole scene, the whole tomb was like hell. The scene really made people feel sick on sight. After examining it thoroughly, Mr. Gong knew that this was the grave of the Qing dynasty's demon cult leader. It made him not dare to move. Looking at it for a long time, he finally took a step forward. Right at that time, Mr. Gong discovered that the corpses of the white-robed magicians had changed. The eyes of these corpses suddenly turned blood red. It felt like they were about to resurrect. Mr. Gong wanted to observe the truth of the matter, but suddenly he heard the call of his two assistants. The two assistants who followed Mr. Gong sensed the danger. Both of them looked towards the entrance and shouted out. Mr. Gong reacted slower than his two assistants. He just turned his head and discovered a very big black shadow. It was approaching him at an extremely fast speed. When Mr. Gong discovered, the shadow already took mice away towards the master's corpse. The breakneck speed of this monster made Mr. Gong and Red Snake bewildered and did not understand what happened. Just a few minutes ago, when scouting the way, mice could not detect anything. Mr. Gong wondered where this monster came from. Mice's life was the most urgent. Without any hesitation, Mr. Gong immediately launched the kunai towards the monster. The red snake seemed to ignore the threat and rushed forward. The kunai of Mr. Gong was really powerful. It pierced the monster's throat and let the monster out a pitiful roar. Red Snake took the chance to rescue mice right from the monster's mouth. Although it was saved by the Red Snake, mice was poisoned, making him unconscious. Witnessing his assistants being harmed by the hideous monster, Mr. Gong showed an angry expression never seen before. He clearly understood that the poison could not harm mice to death, but it would take decades of cultivation to restore his condition. Mr. Gong ordered Red Snake to take mice out and let him deal with the monster. His eyes showed hatred. Take mice out of here immediately. Let me fight with this monster. Mr. Gong clearly understood that this monster was not simple as it could break in without being detected. Mr. Gong intended to tie the chain to his wrist. The monster discovered it, then raised its head and pulled the chain with great force. Just like Mr. Gong thought at first, the power of this monster was not simple. It used the strength of the head only, but it was enough to pull Mr. Gong turn towards it. At that time, Red Snake knew Mr. Gong was in danger, then it rushed to save him. Red Snake followed Mr. Gong for a long time, so it had deep feelings for him. Seeing Mr. Gong in a risky situation, Red Snake immediately rescued him without any hesitation. Red Snake was also a very poisonous snake. It knew the weaknesses of snakes, so it bit hard into the flesh below the monster's scales. The red snake's poison was now into the monster's body. The red snake began to wrap around the monster's neck. Mr. Gong took this chance and jumped to a safe area. Mr. Gong held tight the kunai by one hand while reached into his pocket to take out 3 more kunais by the other hand. These kunais were over 500 or 600 years old. After he tightened the kunai with chain to his wrist as intended, he used the other 3 kunais to attack the monster. Fast as lightning, he then launched 3 kunais towards the monster. It must be said that Mr. Gong's skill in using and launching kunais was the best. It always hit the target accurately. Those 3 kunais hit the monster and pierced through it. Mr. Gong used great force to pull the monster to the ground while asking the red snake to retreat. Immediately afterward, he quickly waved the chain to create circles. He planned to use these circles to bind the monster. Before the monster understood what was going on, it was tied up by Mr. Gong. He pushed strongly to tighten the monster. The chain wrapped and seized the monster. It seemed that Mr. Gong was about to successfully capture the monster. But one thing that shocked everyone was that 2 white horns suddenly appeared on the monster's head. The monster's strength was greatly increased. Mr. Gong knew that this Shenlong was about to turn into a dragon. Before he could stop being shocked, he was pulled by the monster. His hand was bleeding because he was gripping the chain. The kunai with chain that fixed to his wrist turned out to harm Mr. Gong. The monster used its strength to pull Mr. Gong towards it. As evolving into a dragon, the monster's power was significantly increased. It opened the mouth wide, intended to swallow Mr. Gong. However, Mr. Gong removed the chain from his hand. Red Snake, at this time, rushed to save Mr. Gong even though it was also afraid of this monster evolving into a dragon. Just as the monster was about to devour Mr. Gong, the Red Snake quickly pushed him aside, saving him alive. However, saving the life of Mr. Gong put the Red Snake in danger. Without any hesitation, Shenlong swallowed the Red Snake. When it finished swallowing the Red Snake, the monster struggled hard. The kunai with chain was broken into pieces. Apparently, due to the poison of the Red Snake, the monster suffered so much pain. It constantly struggled, causing the cave to shake violently. The monster harmed both of his friends, so Mr. Gong would like to let it repay. But at this moment, the tomb was shaken violently. In just a moment, the catacombs were destroyed and collapsed. Countless stones of all sizes fell in front of Mr. Gong, prevented him from moving. The monster was also hit by the rocks. Mr. Gong thought that the Red Snake's poison spread throughout its body and killed it. Mr. Gong was still standing there until the rocks stopped falling. Tears in his eyes after drying for decades were wet again. He couldn't stop thinking about Red Snake. Red Snake, you can rest assured. I will definitely revenge for you no matter what happens. Speaking of that, Mr. Gong began to ponder. He knew well that the Red Snake wasn't dead yet, and that was why he didn't fight Shenlong for decades. Dad, did the Red Snake die after that battle? If it died, I wouldn't have let that monster live until today. Actually, Mr. Gong still contacted the Red Snake via telepathy. The Red Snake was just locked up. But no matter how Mr. Gong summoned, it still not appeared. The Red Snake is one of my assistants. I can still connect with it, but I can't summon it. Mr. Gong told Biao about a once-in-a-thousand-year opportunity. Soon, Shenlong would have to go through a great tribulation of 500 years. They must take advantage of this rare opportunity to save the Red Snake. Alright, kid, let's get ready for tonight. We'll meet monsters in the river. Okay, Dad, this time, please let me give you a hand to save the Red Snake.